The third vendetta that FNB Bank had against me happened on the 8th of June 2010 when I met the legal consultant at FNB Diagonal Street, Mrs. Lynn Lazoikos. I was first met on the lower level by Patience Maflongo, who tried to resolve my problem but couldn't and sent me up to Lynn Lazoikos. The reason for the meeting was an auction was planned on 110 bonds. It was due to tenants that stayed there. The arrears was due to the tenants that stayed there, and it went into arrears. The meeting was in a very small cubicle. Lynn knew about the 4611 that was happening, but both of us weren't sure when this is going to happen. The solution to the problem was that I would pay 10,000 Rand towards the auction that was supposed to be on the 10th, and that will cancel the auction. And then we will wait for the 4611 to happen, and all the other arrears will be settled. She left this small cubicle and had a 20-minute meeting with Amelia Di Basson. Lynn came back, patted me on the shoulder and said, "Mr. Niemand, we will find a solution to your property problems. Remember that the agreement between me and Lynn Lazoikos was that when the 4611 happens and I get my 505,000 Rand back, everything will be settled." But today I can prove with legal documentation that the bank did the opposite. The meeting was on the 8th. The bank went the next day on the 9th and arranged that my property where I reside would go on auction, and documentation can prove that. The next shocking thing was that the court order was on the 10th, 2 days after our meeting. That meant that court order would give me time to sell my 120 Collins again and solve all my problems. That was 2 days after our meeting. I also found out later on that they went and put 110 Collins back on the market. She went and put 8 Coronation, which is in Triumph, on auction. She arranged that 24 Minna goes back on auction. Everything that was said in a meeting, she went and overturned that. The property 8 Coronation, after paying 17 years, was only 2,000 arrears. The house in 24 Minna was only 3,000 Rand in arrears. I can prove that with documentation. I had no phone call, no SMS, no email that was going to happen. The only way I found out about the auction was that my tenant phoned me and asked me why were people looking over the wall that day. The auction was planned the next day. I immediately phoned the bank and asked them what was going on. Chepu Rapu informed me that the next day the property will be auctioned, both properties. The arrangement between me and Lynn Lazoikos was that everything will be settled when the reversal of the 4611 comes through. But today I can prove with court documents that she put all my properties on auction. But the worst thing that happened was when I went past 110 bonds a few months later, to be exact, it was on the 31st of August. I went into this property and I didn't recognize my tenants. It was new people. And this gentleman said to me, this property was sold on auction, and again, I didn't know about this. I immediately started a court action the next day to find out what has happened. I can prove today, we went to court on the 10th of October 2010. Amelia Di Basson, Mrs. Nienaber, Lynn Lazoikos, Mr. Francis, all did affidavits under oath. They all lied. In Linda Zoiko's affidavit, she said that she gave me time until the 30th to come up with all the arrears, which was plus minus 20,000 Rand, which was a lie. That never happened. That was not the agreement. The agreement was the 4611. When that happened, I will pay all the arrears. But that was a court document and an affidavit that she handed in High Court. When I did more research afterwards, I found out that the notice of service was delivered already on the 25th of June. Now, how is that possible? That an auction where she says there was an arrangement that I have time until the 30th to pay, and the court document gets delivered already on the 25th, that doesn't make sense. That means that she lied under oath in High Court.